Welcome to The Explainer. I'll be stepping into the role of your mentor today, and you, well, you were my student. Together, we're about to explore a truly revolutionary curriculum. We're going to walk through a blueprint that was designed from the ground up to forge true, conscious leaders out of all the noise of the modern world. Okay, let's just dive right into this core tagline, because it really serves as the foundational mantra for everything we're about to discuss today. Look, in the modern world, we are constantly being pushed into defensive, noise-driven cycles. We react to crises, we defend our positions, and honestly, we just get swept away. To be a true leader, you have to break out of that cycle entirely. You have to take absolute intellectual and moral ownership of the discourse. And that brings us to the ultimate challenge. How do we actually take you from being a passive consumer of global events, someone who just watches the news and reacts, and transform you into a proactive architect of truth? Well, it doesn't just happen by accident. It requires a really rigorous structured forging process.
So, here is our syllabus for today's masterclass. 1. The crisis of reaction. 2. Forging your inner core. 3. The all living things protocol. 4. Mastering the external narrative. And finally, 5. The real world crucible. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The crisis of reaction. Escaping the scarcity operating system.
Before we can build anything, we first have to identify the disease that's infecting modern discourse. We're currently living in this reactive, zero-sum environment that's driven almost entirely by emotion and algorithms, rather than logic and rigor. Just notice the contrast we're looking at here. On one side, we see the chaotic, weaponized narratives of the modern arena, this scarcity virus, where truth is basically just a casualty of viral trends and outrage. But on the other side, we see the strategic decision to proactively shape the conversation. That right there is the shift from a defensive posture to a proactive one. It's the conscious decision to shape the conversation, not just try to survive it.
Section 2. Forging your inner core. Weeks 1 through 4. True external influence? That demands an unshakable ethical foundation first. A narrative strategy without an ethical core is frankly just manipulation. So this timeline outlines your rigorous 8-week immersion, and you'll see it split perfectly into 2 halves. The first 4 weeks are entirely dedicated to establishing your internal moral compass, completely from the inside out. Only once that foundation is rock solid do we spend the final 4 weeks weaponizing it as an external strategy to actually influence the world. During this first module, the goal is absolutely not to tell you what to think. As your mentor, my job is to give you the intellectual frameworks and the moral architecture for how you think. We really want you to develop the ability to stand incredibly firm in the face of immense pressure without ever compromising your values. Now, here's a really crucial point. We actually ground this phase in something completely physical: nutritional ethics. Because before you can govern global infrastructure, you have to be able to govern your own internal ecosystem. We use a whole food plant-based nutritional framework to eliminate neurotoxins. Think of it this way. We're turning your cellular health into your very first measurable test of personal governance and ethical clarity. Take a look at the visualization here. On one side, you've got this tangled web of moral ambiguity, but on the other, you have clear, straight lines of logical rigor. You are being equipped with both a shield and a scalpel. This is what allows you to engage robustly with incredibly complex challenges without ever losing your footing. Section 3. The All Living Things Protocol. Expanding the blueprint. To be a true ethical steward, your definition of coexistence literally cannot just be human-centric. That's way too narrow. True conscious leadership requires an ethical mandate that is completely universal. This protocol demands that we function in peace without ever prioritizing whose life matters more. Because the second we start ranking which lives have more value, we create a hierarchy, and that hierarchy inevitably leads straight to systemic exploitation. We have to eliminate this scarcity-driven mindset entirely. But we don't just keep this as some high-minded philosophy. We translate it into dirt and calloused hands. As an ethical leader, you will strictly audit supply chains, like the agricultural sourcing for the BarNess Miracle Bar. You're going to combat speciesism directly. You will ensure that your agricultural practices and your digital networks alike are absolutely 100% bound by the bedrock principle of do no harm. Now, as a leader, you are going to encounter intense friction. We analyze real-world scenarios from the curriculum to understand this. Take the phrase, all lives matter. Within a polarized Western political lens, we know it's often viewed defensively and can be considered highly offensive by some audiences. But within this curriculum's All Living Things protocol, the expression is used literally. It's used to denounce speciesism, animal farming, and systemic human exploitation globally. We use this exact tension to teach you how deeply personal, localized truths often collide with narrow, polarized global lenses, and how you, as a leader, must navigate that without reacting with resentment.
Section 4, Mastering the External Narrative, Weeks 5 to 8. All right, with your ethical core hardened and your understanding of universal coexistence locked in, you are now ready to project that truth outward into the most contested geopolitical environments on Earth. This phase of the curriculum is a total masterclass in dissecting the art and science of narrative strategy. You're no longer just a consumer of narratives, you are officially transitioning into a creator. You're learning to shape the very conversations that will dictate the future. To actually lead the external narrative, you really have to understand its DNA. We fuse deep historical literacy of the modern Middle East, from the Ottoman period straight through to Zionism, with advanced digital media forensics. This ensures you can deconstruct manipulated sources and navigate really complex geopolitical discussions with absolute informed authority. And by mastering this, you become what the curriculum calls an ambassador of truth. You're going to master the ability to confidently frame high-stakes discussions. You'll draw on the spirit of overcoming strong odds to reclaim agency for the silent majority, acting as a vital bridge between foundational ethics and external reality.
Section 5, The Real-World Crucible, Applying the Blueprint. Academic mastery is great, but it's not enough. Now we test your mettle by dropping you directly into the physical execution of a resource-based economy. Notice the Israel flywheel here. It's a 3-stage daily practicum. In the morning at Mount Zion, you focus on theory and genie alignment, which basically means calibrating your communications with our secure digital infrastructure. Then, by the afternoon in Beit Shemesh, you're in the dirt, physically executing and distributing resources. And by the evening in Kiryat Motzkin, you're reviewing metrics and planning for expansion. It's designed to immediately test your conceptual theory through grueling physical execution. Set against the backdrop of Jerusalem's unmatched, beautifully organized chaos, which is a true cross-section of global coexistence, you will operate on the ground. For example, distributing BarNess Miracle Bars at the Kollel Shot Soup Kitchen. You are quite literally taking abstract ethical frameworks and turning them into tangible nourishment for the community. We also study the ultimate solo deployment. Just imagine a single pioneer in Portugal stress-testing a self-sustaining off-grid habitat known as the ARQ-18. They're managing closed-loop water systems, a whole food plant-based microgarden, and unbreakable digital connectivity. Every single challenge they solve alone in the dirt is logged as exact data to create the blueprint that the rest of the community will follow. This is ethics in action. So, the absolutely crucial point is this intersection right here. Clarity without strategy? It's silent. But strategy without clarity? That's dangerous. True conscious leadership exists perfectly at the intersection of your internal ethical grounding and your external narrative influence. I'm going to leave you with this final challenge, my student. The tools to build the kingdom of humanity, the ethical frameworks, the media forensics, the agricultural protocols, they are all sitting right in front of you. You know the path from the inside out. But the ultimate question remains, are you going to pick up the hammer?